everyone, welcome to another episode of the Digitize Fully Charged Podcast. I'm Pam Curry, joined as always by my co-host Niall Ridgway, and today's episode is with Cat Lamin from Canopy Education. They do a lot of work supporting Google and Canva with their projects, and Cat talks us through some of the great work she's been doing there. Cat also talks to us really honestly about a recent ADHD diagnosis, and we had a really good conversation around the need for all of us to talk more openly about mental health and about our struggles if we have them. Super excited to be joined today by Cat Lamin from Canopy Education. She was just telling us that she gets some interesting French pronunciations sometimes of her surname, which is probably why I went a bit flamboyant with the introduction there. And I'm going to stop talking now and hand over to Cat, who's going to introduce herself and tell us a little bit about who she is, where she's from, and how she got into this digital world.
Oh gosh, that's a long story already. So my name's Kat. I trained as a primary school teacher quite a long time ago now. I think I first qualified in 2005. So I did an English degree and trained as a maths teacher, as
what?
you do.
Right, wait.
Yeah.
Stop.
That's two pads.
Right, like you need to explain.
So when I was at school, I was really good at most subjects. I was that annoying person who was good at everything.
Sure.
And so I always knew I wanted to be a primary school teacher. So I was like, right, let's figure out what I'm good at and work on that, and then fill in the gaps. So I did maths and further maths as my A-levels and English, because, nice, simple subjects there. And then I was like, well, I need to boost the English a bit more. I'm better at the maths. So I did an English degree to try and make it balanced out. Nobody told me that was a silly idea. I mean, as a mathematician.
And maybe it brought you a unique skill set.
It did. I think, I probably would have done better had I been doing maths, but I learned a lot doing English, like about child language development, about how the English language developed in itself. And it was a really interesting course. And I was quite lucky because it was way back in the early 2000s. We had a whole course on literature and the internet. That was one of the modules we could take. Yeah. And so
cool. What was that?
So it was really interesting. It was about the idea that when you're writing for the internet, it can be non-linear. And so we created, I created as my project for that one, an interactive story where people could add their own sections and come off any word. And it was just great fun. So it was like early web design. I think I had to download Dreamweaver and I had my Blue Yonder or whatever it was domain or GeoCities or something bizarre. And and we just, as part of our English degree, created websites and hypertext fictions, as they were called. And it was just a really interesting early application to the internet. You may have picked up from that I've always been quite into computers.
Yes.
It's again really interesting. My dad trained as a mechanical engineer. He was working on missile projections for the Navy, but then when he had my sister, he was like, I need to spend time with my kids, so he retrained as a teacher.
Wow.
There were no jobs for physics teachers, so he became a maths teacher and a computing teacher.
Right.
And he had no clue about computers, which was hilarious. So he was just winging it. And he'd bring them home and just try them out on us. So we'd be like the dummies. So we had BBC, and then we had Archimedes computers. So his whole school were Archimedes, Acorn computers. I cut my teeth on Frack, I think it was called, the early platform game, and Granny's Garden, and all those kind of things. So we played on computers, we tinkered with them. I remember going to school and having to use a Windows computer and being, why is this so rubbish? The Archimedes operating system was way advanced.
Right, was
Windows
it?
3.1. It was in a different, like all of the things that you saw in Windows, was it 95 when they first became really user-friendly? That was already there in the Archimedes operating system.
I don't think I even saw the Archimedes operating system. This is fascinating.
The Acorn computers. So we had like an A3000 and an A whatever. And it was really good. But it felt like a step back when I went to Windows first. And then Windows caught up and it was like, oh, right, finally. And by that point, I think Acorn had sort of folded and disappeared into the ether. But it was partly because I remember, because my dad was a computing teacher, he'd had his whole suite kitted out with the Acorns. Right. And then up on high came the command, no, you've got to switch to RM. You've got to use RM devices. And oh my gosh, was he fuming. He was absolutely just crazy angry because he'd spent ages getting everything kitted out the way he liked it.
Yeah, and he's invested in the and I suppose he's learned the
And then we
operating
had to
system.
switch to these rubbish RM Nimbuses or whatever they were. I have vivid memories of, as a child, bringing my computer from home into school and setting it up in the classroom so that we could play Arc Venture and go and explore the Roman ruins.
Oh, that's cool.
Or Egyptian. I can't remember if it's a Romans or Egyptian one, but yeah, it was just like, that's what you did. You bring your computer with you.
That's awesome.
My teacher didn't have a clue. It was so funny.
No.
There's little me at age 9 or whatever. La la la.
Here's my computer.
Bring your own device. Bring your own device back in the day.
Yeah.
I love that. So you developed your interest in computing science then, didn't you? So I never. Have you not studied? You've done a degree. Have you not done a degree? Have you done some good postgrad? No. All right. Sorry.
So I've not studied. So I basically, when I started teaching, I went in I was in a private school as a sort of what we call a floating teacher. So, I mean, I basically taught math sets and things. And the computing teacher went off on maternity leave and they hired someone to replace one part of her job, but not the computing part. So I sort of accidentally fell into the role.
Right.
Sure.
And when she came back, she was like, well, you have this in hand. It's all yours. Which is also the story of how I met my partner, because while I was being acting computing lead, I went to Bett, big trade show.
Yeah.
And I went with my technical services manager, Kevin, and he said, I need to pop over. One of the schools has broken our internet, so I need to go and see my friend. And his friend was Stuart, who is now 15 years later, nearly 16 years now.
So you met your husband at Bett, or your partner at Bett?
Yeah, we're not married yet.
You're not, sorry.
We are the ultimate romantic couple.
I love that. Maybe, do you know what? There's Bett's missing out on a story there, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
They've
I
already
feel like
posted a picture of
have they?
Baby. Yes.
Bett baby. Bett romance.
Yeah.
Wonder how many more there are.
Everyone keeps thinking if they come to Bett, they're going to meet a handsome man and say,
the love of their life.
You know?
Yeah. You stole them.
Yeah, it's mine. Sorry. Back up.
Listen, it means a huge deal to us, to Niall and myself, if you share this podcast with people that you think might find it interesting. So if you know other educators, people interested in digital technology as a whole, it would really mean so much to us if you could share it with them, share it with your friends, subscribe to our channels, and even just listening really means a lot to us. So thanks for that.
When I was teaching computing, I think it was 2014 when they brought in this new computing curriculum. And one of the parents, I think, worked for one of the big banks, Morgan Stanley or whatever. And he'd come in and said, do you know about this new curriculum? And we all sat, me, the head, deputy head, like, what? Sorry? No. And because Morgan Stanley, or I think it was, I don't know, whichever bank it was, had been working on some projects, so he was like, I can get someone in to talk to you about it. Okay. And so they got, I can't remember who it was, but someone came in and talked about algorithms and whatever. And I'm sitting there going, yeah, this is great. And all the other teachers in the room are going,
everyone else has got their arms firmly folded.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And then what followed on from that was that was when Twitter was cool. And I saw a post about something called Pi Academy, run by the Raspberry Pi Foundation.
Yeah.
And that was my real in. So I'd already started tinkering. I'd started looking at Python. I'd started looking at Scratch, but very, very loosely.
Yeah.
And I went on the 3rd ever cohort of Pi Academy. So I went to Cambridge.
Cool.
And it was quite an interesting one. Carrie Ann, who was running it, made a mistake. She accidentally CC'd us all in instead of BCC. So we all had each other's email address, which was wonderful because we all became friends and we all arranged to stay in the same hotel and we all had a couple of beers the night before.
Get to know everyone.
Or the majority of us did anyway. And it was lovely. And we still stay in touch. Like several of us.
See.
Good sort of 10 of the, I think it was 24 or 30 something, but good cohort of us still keep in touch. Like I think you met Eve Reynolds. So she was my Pi Academy cohort back in 2014. And that was like a gateway drug. And I started getting really excited and I went to Bett the next year and talked about it and started developing resources. I ran a blog talking about my experiences as a teacher with no computing background and how much fun it was. And I kind of outgrew my school at that point, after a couple of years, because they wanted me to focus on teaching their children and I was really excited about sharing as much as possible.
Yeah.
And I think it was roughly around 2016 when I sort of realized that I needed to leave the classroom. And it was a terrifying step to take because actually Stuart had just set up his own business as well. So we were both like, sure, let's just both step away. So, because he does school IT support, MSP, managed support, provider, and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And so we both just walked away. I think he'd been going for a year or so when I left.
Brave move.
Big step.
And for the first 2 years, I worked for an EdTech startup called PyTop. And that was that was an interesting experience. I met some very good friends for life. I was the oldest one in the company by about 10, well, apart from a few of the senior people, I was the oldest one by about 10 years. And I was only in my mid-30s at that point. So it was, but just this lovely bunch of people, a lot of neurodiverse people in the room. You know, it was absolutely, it was great fun at times. Less fun at other times, but that's a whole other story that I'm not going into.
Yeah, that's fair.
And then when I left there, that was when I got really lucky because this strange man called Andrew Caffrey messaged me. I see you're no longer working for PyTop. Would you be interested in some work for me as a Google trainer? And I thought, I don't know. So I messaged a couple of people. So Carrie-Anne Philbin at Raspberry Pi Foundation knew him already, and Sway Grantham at Raspberry. So I messaged him, is this guy a legit person? They're like,
is he all right?
He's lovely. He's really nice. Don't worry. So that was my in with EdTech team as it was at the time. And so I so I did lots of work, just dipping in and out, running workshops for Andy, bits and pieces, as a freelancer. And then there's a whole other side where I've been asked to write curriculum. So I was sort of doing that for Andy. And then a company called Kapow Computing approached me to support with their curriculum. So I basically sanity checked everything. Every single lesson I went through and said, no, this is too complex. Let's make it easier for a teacher to understand before we get to the complex bit. I'd also been asked to support. Someone saw me speak at Bett, followed me on Twitter and asked me to help write curriculum content for a Canadian school in Brazil.
Wow.
And I ended up in
was
Brazil.
Was that a bear? Something?
Maple Bear. So I ended up in Brazil doing training.
Nice.
Which was just one of those bizarre life experiences. Why am I here? This is amazing. But why am I here? That was really early on, actually.
You wouldn't even think there'd be a Canadian school in Brazil. I mean, I don't know why not, but I don't know why there shouldn't be, but
It sounds like they're quite, in certain countries where the education system isn't as well developed, they really love private schools from other countries that are like what they consider to be first world countries to come in, or beacons of whatever. So Maple Bear is considered in Brazil quite a high standard of education. But what's fascinating about it is it's quite scripted, and the teachers expect to be given a step-by-step script for the lesson. And what we were writing was not scripted; it was computing, so it's flexible. But I know that for some of the other subjects, it was literally now you say this, and now you say this, and now you say this.
Wow.
It's like, that's so weird, but that's actually the culture in some countries. That's how education's laid out, which I find fascinating.
That's bizarre. I suppose you don't have to do any planning.
Where's your flair?
No.
I mean, great from the planning side of things, but where's your...
And obviously a lot of it's taught in English because we know that everyone likes having English as a second language because it's so global and blah, blah, blah. Really interesting that one was. And I've written for BBC Bite Size, and now literally in the middle of writing a textbook for Cambridge University Press and Assessment for their international computing course. So it's just bizarre. Obviously, and then Canopy, when in lockdown, we had... I've got so many things to talk about. My brain is... I'm such an ADHD. My brain is literally ping, ping, ping. So in lockdown, as you probably already know, I set up something called the Global Educators Mental Health Staffroom. So we had GG Global. So we were running 3 times a week at one point, literally just an open space for anyone in education to come and sit and ask questions and talk. And we had people literally like crying, my friend just died, and this kind of stuff. And we were just there as this space. And then we'd get them laughing 10 minutes later because we just made everything so informal. And it was what was interesting for me was how many of us, no matter where we were in the world, were in the same situation. And what we found as well, unfortunately, was because we were all the people, the forward-thinking techie pushers, the schools who had previously been saying, no, we haven't got time for this now, had spun around and said, why haven't you shown me how to do this? And all of these people around the world were in the same situation with people yelling at them saying, why haven't you shown us this?
We can all relate to that here, I think. And
it was just it was just needed, that space to appreciate one another and breathe. And we kept going for quite a long time. I think we were sort of 18 months before we petered out and came to sort of natural conclusion. But it was so needed.
Yeah.
And then at the same time, Canopy Education was born because EdTech team disappeared for various reasons.
Sure.
And so I carried on as a freelancer for quite a while. And I was thinking about this today, actually, because we've just been advertising for a job. Andy advertised for a specific role. And I looked at it and I was like, that's not me.
Right.
So I messaged him and said, look, I'm not going to apply for the job because it's not the job I would want to do. And he said, oh, yeah, that's absolutely fine. That makes sense. And I think he employed Fiona Law, actually, at that point.
Yeah, sure.
And then about 2 months later, I was doing some work for Canopy anyway. And he was like, do you know what? You're doing so much. Let's just make you a part-time employee because it's going to be better for all of us.
Yeah.
And I always think about that because obviously when people apply for jobs, we do quite often see people who don't necessarily want that role.
Yeah.
And they just apply because they want to get the foot in the door. And it's interesting because obviously that's not the route I took. I was very honest and said that's not the right job for me. I don't want to do that job. So I work part-time for Canopy now, 3 days a week. And then do my own projects freelance, which has been really fun. So as I said, I'm working on a textbook right now. I keep looking at my notes here for the textbook because I've been working on it all morning. And then in the last couple of weeks, someone I'd known from Raspberry Pi stuff a few years ago got in touch, and I've just been working. I don't know if you saw, I went to an event on Tuesday for Visa's Women's Network, and they'd asked Zoe Philpott to come and do an event because she does this incredible one-woman show about Ada Lovelace. She's got this dress with 4,400 LEDs. She literally got a computer in the bustle. So she performs as Ada Lovelace, but explaining stuff, and it like lights up as she's talking about different parts of her life.
Brilliant.
And and she was like, I need a workshop facilitator. Are you free? And luckily I was. So I came along, and it was just a lovely event. We had 80 teenage girls who were all a little bit interested in computer science, and they just had such a great time sewing themselves a little light up circuit, doing a wearable.
That's amazing. And do you know something? I really want to ask you about this kind of like girls, women, like we are both females in a male dominated world when it comes to EdTech and, computing science and technology. What's that been like for you?
It's so interesting. Obviously at Canopy, Andy's really good and he's mostly got women staff, and he recognises and accepts us all for who we are. But I did find at one point when I was working at PyTop, an older gentleman joined the company who was also a teacher.
Okay.
And it was fascinating to me how even though he didn't have the same knowledge I had, the guys were deferring to him on stuff, and he was like, well, I don't know, I'll have to look that up.
Yep.
Like, you know I know that.
Yeah.
But that was fascinating to me.
Yeah.
And it is, I still now, so as a young lady I used to teach, and her father happens to be quite influential in computing spheres. And I remember seeing her when she was about 14, she was choosing her GCSEs. And I said, are you going to do computing? Knowing full well she wasn't going to. Well, no, the teacher's creepy. He's an old creepy guy. And I thought that's the problem, isn't it?
Yeah.
Computing still has that image problem. And, as much as we joke about it, there is definitely still a very specific image that people have when they think about someone who works in computing.
Yeah.
And it's just so important that we dispel that. And in fact, my son's school, bless him, my son's 6, and his school actually did various events to try and highlight women in tech as part of their DEI initiatives. And I love it. Yep. And I managed to persuade them to let me run an assembly. And I got some mums, I literally just put a call out in the parent portal thing. Any mums who work in tech. So I had a lady who worked in computer game design, and I had a lady who worked in fintech, and they came and talked to the kids, and just being those inspirational role models.
Yeah, that's what you need, isn't it? And that Ava Lovelace project as well, though, that must have been brilliant. That's brilliant, isn't it? Who can the kind of fashion clothes side of things? Yeah,
it's just so nice. And I love the way Zoe delivers all the content, because she's just so passionate, and she's got like this amazing costume to be Ada Lovelace.
Yeah.
And she talks about the fact that Ada drinks and swears and has affairs and gambles, and how she's just not the typical Victorian lady.
Yeah.
So
she's rock and roll Ada Lovelace.
Yeah. Probably neurodiverse.
Yeah. Every chance.
Yeah.
Almost definitely.
But that's really interesting, because I've found that as well, inevitably, that the boys in the room will sometimes assume that kind of superior position, if you like, and I guess like it's so it's not it's not even conscious a lot of the time, is it?
Yeah.
It's just something that happens.
It's
and not
fascinating.
just
for
a quick fit.
example- Yeah. But it's fascinating. So, for example, for the job we've just advertised at Canopy, I'm hoping I won't get in trouble for saying this, but it was something like 8% men that applied.
Yeah.
And yet, when we're looking and shortlisting, it's that 20% that seem to come to the top of the pile quite often. And I don't, I don't think that's any sort of unconscious bias on our part. I think it's just that whole idea that women tend to not put themselves forward for things.
Yeah.
Unless they think they're definitely going to get it. There's a lot of imposter syndrome around being a woman in tech. And a lot of, I mean, let's be honest, a lot. So I keep mentioning this because I've just had my ADHD diagnosis in the last year. So I'm still excited about it.
Yeah.
But that, being an ADHD person puts me in the right mindset for things like tech, where things are constantly changing and I can bounce around. But it also comes with that heavy burden of rejection sensitive dysphoria. So
absolutely,
I'm constantly double thinking about rejection all of the time. And I think there's that element as well to think about.
That's really interesting. What about the kind of like, so I noticed like that textbook job that you've got to do just now, that for me looks like something I would avoid for like weeks because it's not the kind of engaging creative pursuit that I might like. So like, how do you manage that side of things, like getting the boring things done? Or not, like, I don't mean to say that is boring. Like, I hope that's not offensive to whatever, you know.
When I first started writing content as a scheme of work, I was thinking, oh God, this is boring, this is onerous. But actually, I quite get into it and I go into that hyper focus. And as long as I set myself deadlines sooner than I need. So I have mental deadlines. And actually for this one in particular, it's been really nice because the development editor I'm working with has been sort of popping onto the live document. So I know that I've got to make sure there's some done so that Lucy can see I've made progress. And that for me is really
same.
Good, that motivation. Okay, I know Lucy's going to look today, so I need to make sure. And then I just disappear into a little realm of hyperfocus and I have a lot of fun with it. So, I was literally today I'm doing a chapter on software and how do you make software exciting? But, I can go down that road of adding in stuff about accessibility. Did you know all operating systems have accessibility features with different names because of copyright and patent? And it's like, you can bring in those little interesting nuggets that my brain loves. Yeah. And I can just bring them in and dot them around, put a picture of Ada Lovelace in because she designed the first software without a computer. Yeah. All these things. I love it. I absolutely love the fact that I can just sort of bring in and I can bounce around. So if I get bored, I'll just go into a different section.
Fair.
And then come back.
Yeah. That's fair. Absolutely. It all gets done in the end, doesn't it? So Kat, like, you're heavily involved in the kind of Google ecosystem because you work with Canopy and all your training and qualifications. Tell us the coolest Google office you've been to.
Well, it's probably the Dublin office just because it's got that 300-seater auditorium and the shop. It's the only one I've been to with the shop.
It's awesome.
To be fair, I've not seen that many Google offices. I've seen the London ones, the Amsterdam one, the Sweden one.
That's quite a few, to be fair.
Yeah, you've already 3 more than I've seen.
I remember doing a call once with Dean from the London one and he was in a bus.
Yep.
Have you still got
that bus though? I've still not seen the bus, but it is there.
No.
Because weirdly, a random Googler came into my son's school because he's a parent to talk about it. And so I came home from a work trip and William sat there going, only Googlers are allowed in my bedroom.
Oh.
Okay. And he's telling me all about the bus. And I was like, what bus? But apparently I just missed it. I'm not completely unobservant.
Yeah, no, I was like, why is he in a bus? Like, it was all I could think about for the first 10 minutes of the call until he addressed it for us and said,
they love their theming.
It's cool, isn't it?
So we quite often do work in 6PS, 6 Pancras Square, and that's where they've got the David Bowie theming. So you've got Ziggy Stardust and ground control. The main room is called Major Tom, so of course the tech room is called ground control.
No way.
Sure. Yep.
And I love
amazing.
Nice.
My mum and
floor is,
do you know, my mum and dad have still got a tape recording of me when I was about 3.5 singing very badly Space Oddity. And I just go, Major Tom. And I just, like, all it does is repeat this ridiculous little, but they used to play it to every new friend or boyfriend or everything.
I can imagine.
You heard Pam singing this. So that sounds super cool. We need to get ourselves down there for a visit, Niall. That sounds...
Yeah, I'm waiting for the new land scraper to open as well. I think that's next year it's meant to open.
What's this?
So they've next to 6PS, they built, it's going to be the longest building in London or something. So it's called a land scraper, not a skyscraper.
Oh.
And it's, I'm making this up, but I think it's got like a bike track, so you can literally cycle up the side to get to different floors or something. But I could have made that up or imagined
cool.
it.
I've not seen that bit. Yeah.
I love that.
That's class.
So you can see it from 6PS and you can see the plan for it, but it's going to be pretty epic. We're kind of like, surely they can put a theatre in there and like we've got in Dublin and a shop.
Yeah.
Because London, people come to London when they're working with Google and they're like, oh, great, can I buy some Google swag? No.
Oh, yeah.
No, you can't.
It's a missed opportunity. I noticed big partnership work going on with Canva just now at Canopy.
Yes.
Have you been involved in that as well?
I haven't been involved in Canva, and that's a deliberate thing.
Sure.
So I'm not massively creative. I can tinker, and I do amateur theatre. So when I'm doing programming or things, I tinker with Canva, but I'm not great at creativity. And we're really lucky. We managed to poach Hannah from the Brit School where she worked in the design department. And she is absolutely fantastic at creative design and things like that, and creativity and just knowing how to use the tools. And obviously Katie Wells as well, another really creative person. So they're sort of taking the lead on the Canva project. I mean, the way Canopy works is that you all have projects, but then we all dip in.
Yeah.
So like Mia works a lot on workspace skills, but then dips into other bits and pieces. So my main project at the moment is the GEGs, the Google Educator groups.
Yes.
But that's sort of winding back a bit now because we've relaunched it. My role now is sort of more in the background.
Okay.
Whereas so Google have their individual leads in each region that sort of run their day-to-day stuff. And I'm more about making sure they get their websites working in the background. So we've all got our different projects and then we've all got things we do. So I think actually Katie has been in charge of the symposium planning. So that's our next thing, which is in 2 weeks' time. We will be in Madrid.
Oh, lovely.
And I think my job will be general dog's body for that one. It's basically run around and make sure everyone has everything they need. Move
Everybody's
Chromebooks.
smiling.
Important job, Kat. An important job.
I love it.
Yes.
Because my official role at Canopy is head of community and inclusion.
Yes, yeah.
So as I describe it, I get to talk to people and make sure they're happy.
Great.
Which is a great job.
Do you get to book the tapas restaurant for the evening, or like?
That's Katie's done that.
All right, great.
She's done that.
We're on it.
I don't know. Lots of different
Love
things going on. Yeah, so
well,
that's hopefully
it'll still be quite sunny in Madrid.
Yes, I'm hoping so. I keep checking the weather.
Yeah, you get a bit of vitamin D. I think it's all good. I think you're going to get a little.
And then
boost.
we're starting, obviously, gear up for Bett in January.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, so that will be soon.
Already.
Because I think we're helping with both Google and Canva. Again, Andy's very good. He just says, right, what would you prefer to do at Bett?
Yeah.
Are you more interested in this, and this? And so he'll obviously try and honour our preferences. And I've been on the Google stand since 2018. So I'm quite happy to stick with that.
Yeah.
In fact, my first Google stand, I was 3-4 months pregnant.
Oh my goodness.
So they had to make sure there was a chair for me.
Not so much Google stand, more Google sit.
Yes, very much.
Kat, see when you're working with schools, where are we at? Like, have you noticed, because you've been obviously trying to implement technology, where it's all about the transformation of education, where's your head at in terms of the feeling around education at the moment? Are we embracing this transformation? Are we still feeling resistance? Is AI the great kind of leveler?
It's really fascinating to me because there's still such a massive digital divide. Like some schools, you look at like Leo Academy in London, they're flying high with it. And then you contrast it where there are schools that barely have enough Chromebooks for pupils to use it in one class set. Or whatever devices they're using. So it's Chromebook automatic there.
And is that the same, is that the kind of UK experience? Because it's very much the experience in Scotland. But
I think it's a massive equity problem. And I keep saying this, like, I would say in terms of policy, we're still getting the government's used to using the internet. We're still a little bit behind on that. And now AI is taking off and people just don't know where to stand. And we see, ban it, block it, don't do it. Whereas I come from the school of thought, having, one of the first things I did after leaving teaching was do some NSPCC COP training.
Oh, yeah.
And the one thing I took away from that was don't ban things, educate.
Educate, yeah.
And that's essential across the board. Like we worked with one school and they wanted to ban children from searching the internet in case they came across something inappropriate. And I'm like,
the whole internet. Yeah.
Yeah. And now, because like, for example, Google search automatically does an AI generated overview.
Yes.
And I'm seeing people panicking because that gives students access to Gemini. What if they look up suicide? Well, what if they look up suicide when they're using Google anyway?
Yeah.
And it's that whole panic culture. We don't want to be doing the wrong thing. And then the other side of that, you see teachers who are completely oblivious and using free chat GPT with pupil data. And you're like,
I know.
Stop, please, breathe.
Yes.
I know.
Think about where this is going. Where is that data being stored?
And it's just, it's so important that we educate. Like there are things that can game change. Yesterday I met with a school my partner supports and I just mentioned Notebook LM and showed them briefly what it did. And they literally nearly cried with how much time it was going to save them.
Yeah.
And it's just these little things. Let's just show you one thing that makes life easier. And I just think there's that sort of weird disparity because on the one hand, we don't want to use AI willy-nilly, but on the other hand, it has got useful purposes. And I've got that sort of underlying, I've got that ethical implication. Like, are we using AI to use all the world's resources? And so I get so angry when I see what I refer to as AI generated slop.
Yes.
Like, why have you used AI to make that completely pointless image?
Yeah.
Yep.
Is that going to aid anyone in any way or just be a bit of a laugh?
Yeah.
And so then for me, I feel like if you're going to use it, you need to be using it for something purposeful and useful.
Yeah.
I think it's got so many ways it can help people. But at the same time, it should be used with just that little pinch of, could this be done another way?
Yes.
Is it going to save me 3 hours of work? Then yes.
Yeah.
Is it just for the fun of it? No.
Have you noticed that kind of shift, right? So Niall and I have both been involved in training for a long time, like you have, EdTech training, and like we've seen the kind of the folded arms and the people who clearly don't want to be there at the end of a school day, and who can blame them often. But like for me, I've noticed a shift because AI is an easier sell in some ways. So when you show them, you get these kind of, those wow moments. Like we always look for wow moments in our sessions, don't we? And for me, they come a lot more easily when we're
and
showing.
I think people get excited about AI more so than about just using tech generally.
Yeah.
So it's sort of like, it's an entryway. And then you kind of point out, well, actually, you've been using AI for about 10 years, but you just didn't realize, that predictive text, that's AI.
Yeah.
But I think that it's just such a strange one because it is getting people excited. And obviously, if you put AI in any session, you're going to get twice as many people as if you don't.
Yep.
Even though maybe the content's more relevant.
Do you think we'll get to a point where it starts turning people away? So the reason I asked this is because in the summer, I had a whole thing with my phone and I had to get a new phone. And all of the companies for the phone companies were saying, oh, the Samsung phone has this fantastic AI.
Yeah.
Oh, Apple now has their AI. And I was like, I'm not interested in that. I want the good camera. I want the faster hardware. I want the better battery. Honestly, I could not care about your AI at the moment because I'll just use Gemini or
I think
ChatGPT for what I'm using.
It's going to peak at some point.
Yes.
And I think people are just going to be like, yeah, all right, whatever.
Yeah.
Because it's already, like, as I said, I mean, I think we're in the death of social media anyway, but there's just so much AI trash on there.
Yes.
And you just look at it and you're like, what is the point?
So Facebook for me at the moment has, I keep getting maybe 5 of these every time I scroll into it. And it's like comparison. You know how before a boxing card, it's got their reach, it's got their weight, it's got their previous, and it compares to celebrities. Yeah. But it's just making up absolute rubbish. And I don't know if it's to irritate and get you to comment and get you to say
rage bait.
This is rubbish.
So much
or
rage
if it's
bait.
just
rage bait.
Absolutely. Or if they're just throwing it out there and I don't care, it'll get something. Yeah. There's so much rubbish out there because people aren't taking the time to check over what's been created, have that sense of this is what I'm interested in, this is the facts, this is what I'm supposed to be creating. It's just being used to put out, like you said, AI slop.
And then you definitely get the rage bait posts where people are just trying to get something out of anyone. Like this morning's one, I went onto Threads and there was a picture of 16 pies or whatever. The British love their pies, and they were just all the same but with a slightly different color filling, and it was like, this is clearly AI slop, and it's you're just posting it to get to everyone's. One of them was Banoffee pie. I'm like, so you just put a bit of cream on the picture of the pie. And fish pie. You know, like this is just to get people to comment and get angry, and they do. And I'm like, just don't leave them. Leave them be.
I was listening to someone recently on a reel or something, and they were basically saying that like AI's got the potential, agentive AI, so that kind of agent flow has the potential to sort of empower us to spend way less time on our devices, so that we might just be saying, find me something interesting on Marketplace that does this, or do you know what I mean? And then we'll just get results returned to us through voice command, which would take away the need for doom scrolling. So that's quite an interesting...
but the social media companies make their money from doom scrolling, don't they? That's why if you post a video about something positive, it's less likely to be pushed out than if you post about something negative. It's just a dangerous trap. I say this as someone who almost certainly has a social media addiction, but I have successfully removed Twitter and Facebook from my life.
Good.
So it's just Threads, Instagram, and LinkedIn.
Sure.
Yeah. No TikTok. No TikTok.
I can't deal with it. I'm too old for that.
No.
To be fair, most of them come up on Instagram now, don't they?
Yeah, that's true. Actually,
give it 2 weeks and you'll see it on Instagram. You know what? It's LinkedIn. I don't know if you play all the games on LinkedIn.
I did.
I've been playing them I've got ridiculous streaks on them all.
What games?
But last week. They've got there's like
that's the whole
5 or 6 games that they've got. Yeah, you remember Facebook games from like years ago? Well, it's like the New York crosswords type games. So they've recently put in the leaderboards so you can see how everybody else has done. I know.
God, I'm glad I stopped now because I'd get really into that.
That's it.
There's a few people that are just like they're very similar scores to me on every single game that they're playing, and it's getting competitive. And I know it's because LinkedIn wants me to go onto their site and they want me to play their games and they want me to access it, but it draws me in every single time.
Leaderboards.
I'm like, Simon's got the same score as me for Sudoku again. And
that's hilarious.
It's interesting to mention that. So one of our Canopy perks is that Andy signed us up for something called YouLife. And it's a health app. So it's one of those ones that the more steps you do, you get more bonus points. So we started it in January, and I've already got, I think, £50 worth of John Lewis vouchers and a £15 Xbox voucher out of it.
Nice.
Like, this is a win.
Yes, it's great.
But it's got a leaderboard for steps. So you can compare where you are compared to the other people in the company.
Yeah.
And honestly, it gets so competitive between us all. So I'm looking now.
Can you tell us? Can you tell us who's in the lead? Whoa, love this.
Simon said Rachel's in the lead, and Andy's not in. Andy's normally high up there because he walks his dog, but he's only in 4th place. I've overtaken him.
Come on, Andy.
And then come on, Andy. Sudoku, so you can do. That gets timed.
That's cool.
Nice.
Niall's gonna need this now. He's gonna
I'm way too competitive for these things though. It just draws me in.
I feel like you two are a really bad influence on each other with these games.
Oh yeah. Well, there's on the LinkedIn ones. There's queens. I don't know if you did that. So
the first time I did that, I was like, this is way too difficult. And then within a week, I was like,
Well, I was the same. Loved it, and then went and found. So obviously, LinkedIn owns the copyright for it all, but there's some knockoff version that some guys made. So I put that. Just as a web page, put that onto my phone. So, and he's got thousands of different versions. So I just sit and play the same game over and over and just do all the different levels, and then. Now I'm always number 1 for LinkedIn leaderboards.
Oh, amazing.
You found your own practice ground. There's part of me is a wee bit worried about jumping on a bandwagon, because awareness has led to a lot of us seeing reels and TikToks and thinking, I've got that. But Darren McGarvey was saying, there is a risk, I suppose, that if we do kind of jump on these bandwagons and think we've got these, neurodivergencies, then it probably devalues people that are experiencing real trauma as a result of this. So I worry about that, but then I think, well, actually, my life has been affected by this because of the anxiety and depression I've suffered all these years. So,
and I think that was why I wanted to get a formal diagnosis, because I'd always joked since I was in my 20s, if ADHD had existed when I was a child, I would have been diagnosed with it.
Yeah.
I wasn't disruptive. I was very clever, but distracted other people because I wanted to talk and I wanted to share and I wanted to discuss. And, things like I'd walk out the classroom and go and do something, come back, just because I was bored or something.
Yeah.
Little things, but because I always got the grades, it was, oh, well, that's fine.
Yes. It was
most girls who've coasted through school, I bombed out at university because you've got to be independent, and it was, a whole thing. But so because I didn't want to be taking away from other people, I was like, you know what? I want to get a formal diagnosis.
Yeah.
Also because I want to talk about it as part of my work, and I don't want to say, I think I've got it.
Yes.
So I phoned my GP, and in England, there's chaos with the whole diagnosis thing. And he just said, look, I'm going to be blunt with you. It's going to take you 2 years to even get to the triage stage.
That's what
I would recommend you get a private diagnosis and then come back and I can fast track you.
Yeah.
And we said, you'll still have to write a personal statement, which makes me laugh because ADHDers aren't great at writing essays or writing personal statements. But luckily for me, I had accidentally already written one. Because when I did my private assessment, I misread the questions and I thought I had to write a sentence in response to each question. It wasn't. It was a tick box.
Right. Okay.
But I misread it and copied and pasted and written an essay for each answer because I wanted to be able to just go on and do it. So then I just cobbled that together into a whole thing.
Until a thing.
It was quite fun because when not fun, but I did my diagnosis through the private system, and she just said at the end, look, I'm going to write this into a formal report, but I just want to assure you that you do have ADHD.
Yeah.
It's really clear you have ADHD.
Yeah.
And it was grief for a bit. I genuinely felt quite sad because it just felt like what could have been if I'd known this sooner.
Yes.
But then I look back and I think, actually, okay, I've had plenty of hard knocks in my life, but without it, I wouldn't be the person I am now. So I sort of had to do that full circle move. Yeah. And it's not been an easy path. My mum and I are no longer speaking because of my diagnosis. Because she couldn't understand it. She thought it was a criticism of her. She thought it was taking something away from my niece who has autism,
right? Because
letters, and she just didn't understand and got angry. And I just said, you know what, this is easier for me to walk away from now. There's obviously lots more of history, but it's one of those things. I think for me, it's provided me with a lot of clarity. I feel like I know myself better.
Yeah.
I also feel like now I know I'm ADHD, I feel almost like I've got a beacon that helps me spot people who also have it.
I think I saw someone saying on another reel that was basically like, do you know what? If you think you might have ADHD, probably look at your friends group.
Yep.
Because since then I've been like, oh yeah. Wait, how do we find each other? Like, how's that happened?
Yeah, most of my friends are either autistic or ADHD, like when I look at it properly, or both.
Same.
So I'm like, oh, right. It's been very freeing for me. I have now, being a woman of a certain age, I have started the triage process in the NHS to see about medication because when you hit your mid-40s, you need to start balancing your hormones one way or another. And I mean, that's the whole thing with women, isn't it? Most people get diagnosed in their 40s because onset of perimenopause means their whole body goes. But so it's been an interesting journey, and I think it's been important. And like, there's a whole theory that at least 20% of the population are ADHD or autistic because it's evolution. The people who are neurodiverse are the hunter-gatherers, while the people who are, I've forgotten the word, but not neurodiverse are the ones who would sit around the fire and cook and things.
Yeah.
We're just programmed to be always alert.
Yeah.
And ready to go at the drop of a hat.
So in terms of like advice to people listening who might be thinking the same thing, because this awareness is coming to many people that I know, I think, and certainly for myself, I've been going, like, I've got the forms I've been to the doctor, I've had the initial assessment, and I've got the forms, but I've had the forms for 14 months, and my partner's like, well, that should be the assessment. Because, like...
no procrastination involved.
Like, so would you say it's worth, like, I mean, I suppose it's all individual, isn't it? And we've all got individual
I think if you think it's going to benefit you, it's worth doing. So in my case, because I wanted to be able to be authentic and talk about it, that was the first reason why I got the diagnosis. And as I said, it was a big thing for me. It's really helped me process who I am and accept better who I am. I would say my mental health has been better since the diagnosis, because I feel able to be like, okay, no, that's actually the ADHD that's making me feel that way.
Yeah.
And as I said, as I'm becoming more hormonal, it's going to be useful if I can try the medication. And I've got a couple of friends of a similar age who are doing the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Again, friends, look at your friends.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I think it was the right decision for me, certainly.
Yeah.
And I've got my daily supplement I take, which may be all placebo, but it helps in my mind. So I don't mind my little Space Goods milkshake every day.
Well, do you know what? Thank you for being so honest about that. It's been a great conversation, because, like, it's something that, I certainly, it's relevant to me, and it will be to loads of people listening as well. So, and I think mental health in general is something that we are getting better at talking about, but we're not quite there yet, are we?
We're still not there yet. No.
So certainly a lot of stigma around certain people.
Yes, definitely. And then actually in that case, it's generally men who are worse at it. Yes. At least women generally will talk about it. And we know that particularly young male suicide rates are horrific because they're not willing to talk about it. So it's so important that we provide opportunities and, again, role model. So I actually did, a couple of years ago, I went into my son's school and talked to, I think, year 3 or 4, and just talked about what it was like to have depression and anxiety.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It was really nice. The school, I mean, we're lucky. Our school is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Really supportive. So I went in and had a nice little chat and talked about them and said, look, I seem like a happy person to you, but I'm not. My brain's telling me bad things.
Yeah. Yeah.
And did they understand?
Yeah, they did. They seemed really, really, like, they were excited and interested. And it was just that understanding that this isn't awful. This isn't a terrible thing. It's a thing that happens to lots of people.
Any good places you'd recommend? Any sort of resources or, like, spaces?
Good question. Yeah.
So the one I'm very lucky. Where I live has a very strong presence from Mind, the mental health charity.
Yeah.
Actually, one of the things I've been looking into as a sort of side thing is something called ARFID.
Yes. The food thing.
Avoidant restrictive food intake diet. And I have realised that I've had this my whole life.
Oh, really?
And it gets worse at a certain time. And so I've been looking at that. There was a website, I can't remember what it was called, Beat for eating disorders.
Okay.
Which has got some information about that. And I've been looking at that. And then I'm, again, in an area where they recognise it and they will support you if you have suspected ARFID. But there's just like, don't be afraid to find out, I think, is the key thing. Don't be afraid to question.
Sure.
Advocate for yourself.
Yeah.
So, and it can just be luck. So my GP, we actually moved GPs because the old one was rubbish. And this new GP was like, I think you're probably right. Let's do a referral for you. I said, I think I've got perimenopause. What are your symptoms? Okay, I think you're right.
Yeah.
Let's monitor it. And it's just having that doctor who would advocate, doctor who listens, who doesn't immediately dismiss you.
Yes.
Makes such a big difference.
Thank you so much for sharing that with us. I think it's really important that people have stories and voices to relate to. So thank you.
Yes.
And
No
thanks so much for joining the podcast. It's honestly, I feel like we could chat to you for the rest of the day. Hopefully a social occasion will present itself sometime.
Yes.
And
crossed. I mean, I do nip up to Scotland every so often.
Yeah, give us a shout. Get in touch, seriously, because like I'm based right in between Glasgow and Edinburgh, so I'm Niall's a little bit further north.
I mean, there was one point where I was going to Aberdeen every few months, it felt like, but
No, give us a shout.
Aberdeenshire are quite good with their digital stuff.
Yes.
They're on it with Jim and Julia.
We love Jim and Julia.
Jim and Julia.
Yes.
thanks very much for making it to the end of another Digitize Fully Charged podcast episode. Thanks so much to Cat for that fascinating chat with Niall and myself. Remember, you can follow us on all the social media channels. We're at Digitize Crew, just about everywhere. If you could take a screenshot of yourself listening to the podcast and even just share it with a few people, it really makes a huge difference to us. If you subscribe to our YouTube channel, that also helps us massively. Thanks so much for listening, and we'll catch you again next time.